What's up, everybody? Dr. Dark 1985. There's levels to this. All right, so check this out real quick. Let's talk about Google Stadia. Let's talk about GeForce Now. Let's talk about Xbox, xCloud. So pretty much, let's talk about streaming video games. I saw this article that spoke about how Bethesda is going to take its games out of the GeForce experience now, right? Now, the reason according to the article that I read, is because Bethesda doesn't want you to be able to play their game on a streaming service unless you're gonna pay them, even if you've already bought the game previously. So I want you to hear this clearly, okay? Make sure I fix my mic. Hold on. I want you to hear this clearly. You buy a game from, let's say, Steam or something, okay? You buy a game from any other launcher, right? The developer already got paid because you paid for that game. Nvidia now wants to allow you, though, to be able to stream the game that you have already bought and already paid the developer for. But the developer wants to say no to Nvidia now because they want a cut for every time you stream the game that you have already purchased. What? What? Somebody please tell me I'm understanding this wrong. Leave me a 3-page comment. Please tell me I'm understanding this wrong. Please tell me that I'm hearing this wrong. Because here's the deal. I am not a fan of streaming at all. I'm not a fan of streaming games at all. I'm not. But here's the reality. All these companies that are pushing for it must know something that you and me don't. They know that being able to play your games in multiple places is going to be part of the future. They want you to be able to go on vacation or during Thanksgiving when you got to go across the freaking country to visit family members and relatives. They want you to be able to still, after you eat your fat turkey and you have your freaking cheesecake and you can barely move, they want you to still be able to take out your little game controller, connect it to your phone, and be able to play your video games and not have to bring your entire console with you. They want you to be able to do that, right? Now, you know what my solution to that is? I love gaming laptops. I think it's amazing. The Nintendo Switch, I think that thing is amazing, right? But you're not actually streaming on a gaming laptop. You're not actually streaming on a Nintendo Switch. The hardware has everything right there ready for you to go. But here's the deal. If you are a developer that you feel like your game is big enough or you're too good to play ball with these streaming services, I'll have a word of advice for you. Your game is not that good. This is what I mean. I'm going to compare this to the music industry. Okay. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from New Jersey. Right. So I am biased to East Coast hip hop. I am. I can admit it. Okay. I like that style of hip hop a little bit better. Now I listen to everything. Right. But I like that style a little bit better. I had Spotify before. Right now I paid like $10.99. Okay. And now I have Apple Music. The only reason I switched is because my cell phone carrier started offering Apple Music for free. I'm always looking for that budget. It makes sense to me. Free is less than $10.99. So sorry, Spotify, we out. Peace. Right? So I switched over to Apple Music. Now, when I was on Spotify and I was still paying freaking $10.99 a month or whatever it was that I was paying, there was this hip hop artist from the East Coast that to me is one of the greatest rappers alive. He's still alive, right? And he decided that his music wasn't going to be on any other platform but Tidal. Here's the deal. I already had Spotify. I am not getting another subscription to a different thing just to hear your music. This is how I felt as a consumer. Like, oh, you feel like you that big, huh? That I would even switch. I'm not even gonna cancel my subscription with Spotify. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm just not gonna listen to your music. And again, he's one of my favorite. But it ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. You are not bigger than music. You are not bigger than hip hop. You are not bigger than rap. Developers, you are not bigger than gaming. There's plenty of gamers right now, right, that are okay not playing your game. There's gamers right now that understand and know the force of what Nintendo is, but are okay if they never play a Super Mario game ever again because Super Mario is not going to come on their platform. They acknowledge it. Of course, Nintendo's maybe you could call them maybe the goat of gaming, right? So how long they've been in the game and how they've been able to survive and innovate, or whatever. But we good. It's fine if you're not coming. If I'm not playing Mario at 144 frames, we good, right? I'm not getting it. Now you will have consumers like, for instance, like myself, that have a PC, that have an Xbox, have a PS4, have a Nintendo Switch, right? We're blessed to be able to do that, right? So I'm sure there's people out there that have Apple Music, have Spotify, and have Tidal. I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure there are. But the majority of us are probably gonna stick to one, right? We're probably gonna stick to one. So this is where it gets dangerous. Music before, when you wanted to purchase music, you would actually buy a CD. You guys remember that? You actually go out, buy an album or whatever. And you had that album, you were able to put it in your freaking car, put it in the disc drive, or put it in your Walkman. Some of y'all don't even know what a Walkman is. But you'll be able to listen to music like that. It's cool. Then streaming started coming out. Now, at first, the way streaming came out was, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of bogus because it was very pro consumer. It was literally free. Like when Napster came out, and when was it Frost? What was it called? Frostbite or LimeWire? Like literally, you just free. People were just sharing free files, right? So you were literally listening to music for free. People weren't getting paid. Got it. Now this is where companies like Spotify, Apple, Google Music, Amazon Music, Tidal, all these companies got smart, right? They realized like streaming is new technology, is not going anywhere. Let's capitalize on this. And they did. And they did. The artists that want to play, cool. Your music gets streamed, all this other stuff. And here's the thing, is consumer based, right? It's driven by consumer base. So the reason Google Stadia and Nvidia GeForce Now and the Xbox xCloud hasn't completely taken over, and a lot of people, including myself, aren't pro streaming games, is because we know the technology is not there yet. That doesn't mean though that the technology won't be there in the future. That doesn't mean that. Because here's the thing, it happened with music, and to be honest with you, when I had Spotify and I paid $10.99 a month, now reoccurring, right? You're literally paying $10.99 a month every single month. So when you really think about it, it's almost like you're buying a new album every single month. And when we didn't have streaming, you wouldn't buy a new album every single month. You only buy an album whenever your favorite artist would drop, or whenever somebody else would drop. Not only that, but if somebody had a CD that you haven't listened to, they'd give it to you. So yeah, we would technically save more money by only buying the albums when they came out and when we wanted to hear them. But the amount of music that we have now, to me, is well worth $10.99. And how fast I can get it. You see, that's the thing, right? Streaming music, we're in a world right now where streaming music works. Streaming music makes sense. When I get in my car, I don't put a CD in. My phone's connected to the Bluetooth. I listen to music, and literally, if my mind, in the middle of a track, if my mind changes genre and I want to hear something else, I could literally look it up, and that same exact song that I was thinking about will pop up, and I could literally play it. For the most part, every once in a while, very rare, where I find a song that I can't play. And that goes back to my point. One of my favorite rappers didn't want to play ball with Spotify, didn't want to play ball with Apple Music. So I didn't listen to him for a very long time. Now, Lord and behold, he's actually on Spotify. A lot of his albums are on Spotify, right? A lot of his albums are on Apple Music. So now I could listen to him. And I'm glad he came over because I wasn't going over the Tidal. I wasn't. You could probably figure out which rapper I'm talking about. It's a hard knock life. But regardless, game developers, be careful what you're doing. Now let me tell you how this could work. If a whole genre of music said no to Spotify, said no to Apple Music, Now you got my attention. If I could only listen to rap and hip hop on, let's say, Tidal, like if tomorrow Apple Music lost all the rights to rap and hip hop, then I don't care if Apple Music is free. I'm going somewhere else because the genre itself is big enough. But one artist, one developer, sorry, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. So, it gets really interesting because right now it's a battle of positioning, right? If all game developers come together and they do this, then whatever streaming service they decide to boycott or doesn't pay them what they want, that streaming service will go down. It will go down. It's just gonna happen, right? But if it's just lone game developers and all of the game developers are playing ball, then that game developer, you'll have your loyal fans that'll go to whatever streaming service you're using, but it's not gonna be the same. And this is what I mean. Right now, like I said, we have gamers that are okay never playing a video game because it's not on their platform. And even though a game like God of War on the PS4 and Spider-Man 3 on the PS4 were amazing and they sold great and everything, right? There's still Xbox players that won't play it, will probably never play it, and are okay never playing it. I know for sure there's PC gamers that are fine with never playing a console game. If it don't come to PC, it don't come to PC. I'm good. I ain't losing no sleep over it. But and here's the truth, right? As a game developer, you gotta be okay with that. You gotta know what you're getting into. You gotta be okay with that. Because here's the truth: if God of War would have came across all platforms, obviously it would have made more money, right? If Spider-Man 3 would have came across all platforms, obviously it would have made more money. That's why you got games like GTA 5 that are all cross-platform and make a lot of money, right? Makes sense. So game developers, what is it that you want? Because when it comes to streaming services, this is what you got to understand. Most consumers, we're only going to pick one. If you've invested in Google Stadia, you're probably going to stick with Google Stadia. Or you're going to go ahead and switch and cancel Google Stadia. You're not highly unlikely that you're going to have Google Stadia, pay for GeForce Now, and pay for Xbox xCloud. Some of us right now are wondering why we're paying for PS4 Plus and Xbox Live. Tell me I'm wrong. Some of us are wondering why are we paying for both when we know we use one more than the other. And if you're a PC gamer and you're paying for PS4 Plus and Xbox Live, part of your heart and soul is like, why am I paying for something that I'm getting for free on PC? So understand this, game developers. Right now, PC gamers complain about the fact that we got to have multiple game launchers. I'm looking at my PC right now. I got Origin, I got Steam, I got Ubisoft, I got the Epic Game Store, literally all back to back right next to each other. Because there's different games on those platforms that I can only play on those launchers. The reason that most of us PC gamers are okay with doing that, though, and we'll swallow the bullet even though we're mad about it, is because getting the launcher is free. It's cost us space on our precious computer, which we value, but it's free to get the launcher. If we were getting charged to have those launchers, you better believe most of us would pick one or two launchers, and every other game that's exclusive on a little launcher, bye. I'm just not playing it. I'm just not playing it. So, game developers, be careful how greedy you get. Okay? Be careful how greedy you get. And even though I don't like the concept of streaming games, we have to look at every other media that has came before video games and look at where it is now. Okay? Music is now mostly streamed. I don't know anybody that had bought an album. I don't at all. Most people just stream, right? Because it works. That's the key. That technology for music works. You know where it also works? It works for movies. So you got things like Netflix, you got things like Hulu, you have things like Amazon or Prime Video, you have things like Disney Plus. All these streaming services work, and that's why they're profitable. It's only a matter of time until they figure out how to make streaming work. And here's a problem for you game developers that don't want to play ball. Google has enough money that if they wanted to pour a lot of resources into figuring out how to make streaming work, they're gonna figure it out. Okay. Microsoft has enough money where if they want to really focus on the X Cloud and figuring out how to make that work, they're gonna figure it out. Nvidia, I don't know how much money they have. I really don't, but I'm sure if they really wanted to, they could figure it out as well. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. They're gonna figure it out. The only way any of this will not happen is if all developers or a whole genre just decides a whole, let's say all first person shooters, every single person shooter decided, nope, none of our games are going to be able to be played on streaming services. You're going to have to have it downloaded to whatever. That's going to crush. That's going to crush something like Google Stadia, Nvidia GeForce Now, or the Xbox X Cloud. But unless that happens, unless you guys all unite together, then streaming is going to happen. And if you want to be that game developer that takes the chance and you feel like your game or your games are bigger than gaming, see, that's the thing. That's what happened with this rapper. Again, in my opinion, is he thought that he was bigger than rap. He was bigger than hip hop. And I'm sure a lot of fans went ahead and went to Tidal just because he was there. I'm just letting you know a lot of us, there's a lot of us that said, nah, I'm good, dog. I'm good. I'll listen to your stuff later. And guess what? At the end of the day, he had to come back to every other platform because it just makes sense. Why would he not want more people to be able to listen to his stuff? So for you game developers out there, why would you not want more people to be able to play your games? Again, the launcher thing makes sense because launchers are free. Now, if you're a console gamer, you don't understand exactly what I'm talking about with game launchers. But on PC, certain games can only be played if you download that developer's game launcher, which I know sounds crazy. I know it is crazy, but that's just the way it works. Okay. Some games are you could play through multiple different launchers. So, for instance, Steam has a pretty big library, but again, it's certain games, certain game launchers. That's the way you got to play it. So now here's a message to the streaming companies. You need to come out of the gate and make it such a big impression and get a large fan base to go to your streaming service. Because if you don't do that, the streaming service that has the most customer base is going to be the one that's going to be able to leverage more with developers. And like I said, for one, two, three, four, even maybe five artists, I'm not willing to change my streaming service for music. But if it was a whole genre, or if it was the majority, all the really good hip hop artists went to just this streaming service, then I'm willing to make the change for that. But the only way that's going to happen is if you have a large enough fan base where that artist can see, like, okay, it makes sense for me to still make business with them, because artists aren't talking with each other, just like I'm sure these game developer companies aren't all talking to each other saying like, hey, let's go ahead and all go to Xbox X Cloud, let's go ahead, let's all go to Google Stadia, let's all go ahead and go to GeForce Nvidia now, right? So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting because if Nvidia right now, this is what I'm telling you, you losing Bethesda, I wouldn't sweat it. I wouldn't even sweat it. Yeah, they make good games, but I wouldn't even sweat it. Now you lose Bethesda, you lose, let's say, Rockstar, you lose, let's say, um what, EA, let's say you lose, like if you start losing a whole bunch of high name developers, now you need to be careful because I'm not going to you. I'm not. I'm gonna go somewhere else where those games are gonna be actually streamed if I wanted to stream games. You see what I'm saying? So it's gonna be very interesting the next few months, the next few years, what exactly happens with these streaming services and how these developers play ball together with these streaming services. But to be bold and be the only ones that come out and say no, I'm not, I'm not letting you stream my game on this service, even though you've already paid for the game. I want you to pay more. What? I'm good, Bethesda. I'm good. Whoever else doesn't want to play with Nvidia GeForce Now, I'm good. Don't worry about it. I won't even play your games. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. I promise you, I won't lose any sleep over it. And then when you come back years later, then maybe I'll play your game. Then maybe I'll play your game. The consumer right now has a lot of power. The consumer right now has a lot of power. And this is what happened with movies. This is what happened with music, and it's gonna happen with video games. And like I said earlier, most of us are only gonna pick one streaming service. I only have one music streaming service, and it's Apple right now because it's free with my cell phone carrier. Like I said, when it comes to movies, though, it's a little bit different. I got Netflix, I got Hulu, I have Amazon Prime Video, and I have Disney Plus. But let me explain this to you. Disney Plus is also free with my cell phone carrier. All right, so I'm not paying for that. I have Amazon Prime, so that just comes with Prime Video, so I'm okay with that. Hulu is mostly used by my family to watch TV shows, and I like documentaries, and Netflix has a whole bunch of documentaries, so I'm sticking with Netflix. So there's only really two, right? Hulu and Netflix that we really pay for exclusively just for that. As far as Amazon Prime, we have Amazon Prime. We buy a lot of stuff from Amazon, so yeah, we Prime Video comes with it. That's a nice incentive. Thank you very much. And then when it comes to freaking what's the other one? Disney Plus is free for a year right now with a cell phone carrier. But once it's done, we're probably not, I know I'm not gonna keep paying for Disney Plus. So you got good movies, Disney. You do, but I'm not paying for it. I'm just not. You better start putting your movies on Netflix. I'm just saying, it is what it is. So it's a little rant about what streaming gaming is gonna be like in the future. How these companies are gonna be playing with it is gonna be very interesting to see. All I know is next generation is not quite there yet with the streaming. They're still gonna have disk drive, which I'm glad for, and because the technology is just not there. So Dog1985, yo, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. I know some of you guys believe streaming is the future. It's got to be the future. There's no other way. Other of you guys I know are on the same thing, feel the same way that I feel. Like there's no point to streaming right now. Some of you believe you'll never ever stream. I'm telling you right now, to people like me that I used to buy albums like as tapes, I never dreamed of being able to have a device the size of my hand with an unlimited supply of music. Imagine if gaming became that, where you paid a subscription and you had an unlimited supply of games at your disposal. That's what they're trying to do. And once they figure it out, it's going to happen. Dog 195, we out. Peace.